Hi everyone, I wanted to do a video just to share some things with you basically. I was inspired this week, it was World Mental Health Day, and I've also been thinking quite a lot over the past couple of years really, that, part of what I want to do and part of what I encourage is for women to be open about how they're feeling. And that's really what the Be Confident group is about, to have a safe space to talk about how you're feeling and manage your emotions and find new ways to cope with those emotions. So I thought that it was time that I kind of shared some things, because it's a bit hypocritical wanting everyone else to share when I haven't shared anything myself. So a little bit of a brief overview. I have had quite a lot of things happen in my life, and when I was 14 I became a teenage mum to Chloe, and I was told that I would amount to nothing, that I'd ruined my life, and I was given this kind of label. That really stuck with me over my life. Things that happened in my childhood that had left me feeling very emotionally unstable, I suppose, and it kind of followed me all the way through my early 20s and my late 20s, but I was always driven to kind of make a better life for me and my two girls. About 10 years ago I had a severe breakdown. I lost all sense of who I was. I didn't want to be here anymore. I'd become very isolated, and I'd kind of given up. Lots of things had happened to lead up to that. Very briefly, my marriage failed. I had a business that didn't work out, which led to me having to declare myself bankrupt. I nearly lost my house. And it was a really, really difficult time. But the worst part of that was that a lot of my friends and family were just very dismissive of it, and just kind of saying, just pull yourself together, you're strong, you can get over this. And I didn't feel very strong. I felt that a lot of things had happened that warranted me feeling how I did. And so, in a way, this kind of dismissive attitude from everyone made me feel a lot worse, and made me hide a lot of things and try and cope in not very healthy ways with my emotions. Not long after the start of my recovery, if you like, my best friend was diagnosed as terminal, and she was my bestest friend. She was the person that was always there for me, and this was one of the hardest things to accept, one of the hardest challenges that I was faced with. But I had two options. I either supported her, because here I was feeling suicidal and wanted to give up on life, and here she was and she had no option. So I did suffer inside, and I did struggle inside with my emotions, but I was there for her and supported her in the best way I could. From that, I decided that I wanted to train to be a counsellor. I wanted to help other women. I didn't want women to struggle and suffer the way that I had. I didn't want them to feel isolated. And so I pursued a career of counselling. From that, I decided that, I wanted to, that my life had to mean something, that I had to be here for a reason. But during that time, I was diagnosed with bipolar, and I was put on very strong medication, and I didn't really like the feeling that the medication gave me. But yeah, I realised that was kind of necessary at the time. After my best friend died, I was grieving quite badly. As I say, I'd only been probably a couple of months out of the depths of despair, really, the breakdown. And yeah, my emotions and my erratic behaviour was, one day I'd be up, next day I'd be down. I didn't know where I was. I didn't know how to deal with this sense of loss. I'd lost so much over the years that this was just, the icing on the cake for me, and I just didn't know how to manage it. So being in kind of the mental health system for most of my life, they diagnosed me with borderline personality disorder. I'd never heard of this before. I didn't know what it was. All I took from that was somebody was saying that my personality was damaged. And it was hard. It was another label. Why have I got these labels? But through my training, I realised that actually the label just meant that I had some kind of information that I could share with my close friends and family, who, my daughters were my biggest sense of support, certainly Chloe, because she was the oldest and she had to learn ways to help me manage my feelings and recognise, when I was going down or when I was too up. And yeah, 10 years on, I still struggle. There are things that can trigger my emotions or my inability to manage emotions. Be that it can be something as simple as someone saying they're going to do something and then they don't, or it can be something that, some kind of bad news that's out of my control, and it's really, really difficult for me to manage. And unlike if you've got asthma or, if you're diabetic, you can kind of get your insulin out and it's like that instant fix and you can talk about it and it's nothing to be ashamed of. When it's in your head, it's very, very difficult, because if I say I'm having a bad day, it means I'm really, really having a bad day. So yeah, so it's a struggle, an ongoing struggle. But a year ago, Chloe and I decided to set up a group. We thought there was something missing and there needed to be somewhere for women to talk about how they felt and have a positive focus through those bad days and, all pulled together. And so, yeah, every day last year I set my daily intentions. I didn't get out of bed without doing it. My anxiety levels dropped. My self-esteem and my confidence grew. I worked a lot on myself because, if you're studying for a career, then you study and learn as much as you can about that job. And, if we channel that and learn as much as we can about ourselves, then it makes such a difference. But last year was great. Lots of brilliant things happened. I couldn't quite believe how great my life was going. But then there were several people that were commenting, you're a bit too positive now, Bridie. You're a bit too happy all the time. So, and someone said to me, maybe it's just coincidence that these good things have happened. These could happen at any time. And it started to make me question that what I'd been doing was actually working. So this year I decided that I wasn't going to set my daily intentions. I wasn't going to focus. I wasn't going to meditate. I wasn't going to do all those things. And this year's been pretty shit. Quite a few things have happened in my personal life. And even though if those things had happened last year, I just know I would have dealt with them differently. And I felt myself falling back into the trap of unhealthy ways of managing and losing myself again. So after speaking with Chloe, she decided that, I really needed to refocus, and we're really working at pushing the group now and using that as a positive form of focus to kind of get myself back on track and start working on myself again. So that's what I'm doing. It's not easy. It's not easy managing low confidence, low self-esteem, anxiety, low moods. It's shit. It really is. But if you learn more about yourself and you have access to better coping strategies and you are determined and you believe that there is going to be a light at the end of the tunnel, because there really is a light at the end of the tunnel. Life has a way of really, really challenging us, and it's what we kind of do with those challenges and how we see things. And I really, really want the group to help as many women as possible. So, you know, if you do know anyone who's struggling, then, you know, please send them our way. You know, the Be Confident group is for any women out there struggling with anything, you know. We've got the Instagram. We're on Instagram now. So yeah, so I just wanted to share those few things, really. You know, my experiences have led me to want to help other women. I'm not the expert in everything, but I do know what it's like to struggle. And I think by us being more open and being more supportive, that it will make life a little bit easier. So yeah, that's it. I just wanted to share that. The topic this morning was strengths and being strong and sharing. So thank you for listening, and if any of this helps you all in any way, then that will make me really happy. Thank you.